You're listening to the Young Talk podcast by First Church Young Adults.
Welcome back to another episode of Young Talk, and today is a little different because we have special guest Nate Roberts.
Woo!
So Nate, introduce yourself.
My name is Nate. I'm from Wilson, North Carolina. I serve as the National Children's Director over the Kids Quest Department for the ALJC, and I just get to travel and hang out at different places and minister to children, church families, all that good stuff. Lead worship back home with my wife. And direct our youth department, work at our Christian school, just whatever we can do. We try to do that. So yeah, stoked to be here with all of you guys as well. This is awesome.
If you had to pick your favorite part of all the stuff that you just said, what would it be?
Hanging out with Josh probably would be top tier. And drinking first cup of water.
Drinking first cup of water.
Kids ministry has always had a special place because that's what I grew up in. So I definitely think that's my heart for sure.
Yeah. Okay. What about least? What's the least favorite?
Teenagers.
Oh.
No. No, I can't pick a least. I can't pick a least. We'll try to be even for everybody.
For our kids on the teenage.
Sometimes they listen better. Yeah.
Actually, that is true. That is true. That is true. Okay, Brandon, why don't you ask him the lotion question? Oh yeah. So in the last episode, Brandon asked a lotion question. I want to ask it right.
Do like the top 3 questions.
All right, Nate, are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
What part of your body could use a little lotion?
Always elbows.
That's what I said.
Okay. All right. Do we have a vote on which ones we want to ask, or do you? No, go.
He can't hear you, but the people on the mic, yeah. Like, why is she whispering? She's so loud. Because I know he can't.
If you could wedgie any historical figure, who would you pick?
Like, you give anybody a wedgie?
Yeah.
In history?
Yeah.
Oh,
anyone,
wow.
Anyone.
Oh, wow. I thought that was the first one that came to mind.
Anybody at all.
Oh, wow.
Except Jesus.
Yeah, no chance. No shot. Probably Pilate.
Okay.
Mid washing his hands. Yeah. Yeah, mid wash. Yeah, let him know.
And
Okay,
Hitler.
hold on. That's what he said.
And Hitler.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh. That
would be solid. Every child in Israel, whenever they saw the waters part and still turned against Israel.
Yeah.
Every single
wedgie. Okay, I got part 2. I got part 2 of this question. If you could wedgie anybody on the First Church staff, who would you wedgie?
All current or like former as well?
Hey, let's add former or current. Let's do both. First, let's do current.
Okay. Ty. Yeah. There we go.
Shout out First Church Baytown, yes. Ty. That would be a good wedgie. That'd be a good wedgie. He just looks wedgieable.
You got a tag on it. You got that look about you.
He got that look. He's also someone that would laugh about it. He would get mad.
Yeah, he'd be for it.
Okay, now what about from all time?
Oh, I'll just say Elijah. Elijah, yeah. I'll keep it safe.
Yeah, I don't think that he would laugh about it, but
probably not. I'm working. Can you please not do that?
Nate, here's a third one. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say? All right, 3, 2. Let's say these cameras were worldwide.
Like I'm taking
worldwide. Every screen on Earth. 3, 2, 1, go.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Wait, do we have a time?
I'm going.
She's going. She's coming.
Repentance is still necessary. Baptism is still necessary in Jesus' name. Got to get filled with the Holy Ghost. No hate. It's all love. Jesus loves you just the way you are. You can come to church the way you are, but you don't have to leave the way that you came.
Okay.
Follow us at First Church. And while you're giving your heart to God.
Yes.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
You're better than us.
Who did it? Was it Micah? No, it's Brandon. It was Brandon. First thing you said, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and gotta get those plugs.
You gotta grow the channel.
Stream me on SoundCloud.
New song out this Friday. That's awesome.
I said SoundCloud intentionally. I don't really listen to SoundCloud. So I
uploads.
I know that you mentioned that you and your wife lead worship. What would you say is like the song that you consider like maybe that's like really like your anthem per se right now? Brandon is like maneuvering this conversation.
I mean, we go back to wedgies. Go back to wedgies.
Yeah. Wedgies and worship. Wedgies and worship.
God,
wedgies while you worship.
That's hilarious. Well, I think that comes and goes with seasons, especially at our church. So it was I Thank God for the longest. And I Thank God was one of those songs where we would sing it, and then the pastor would want us to sing it for altar call. And then he'd say, go ahead and add it to the order for Sunday night. And we're like, what is happening? And then, so like, I Thank God was the biggest one for a while. And now I think it's Praise.
Okay. I love that song.
Yeah. With the Anything is Possible bridge.
Okay.
Oh, my 5-year-old will turn it to Praise.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's the one right now.
Yeah.
For sure. How about for y'all? Is it for me?
For a while, it was, oh my word. I mean, it's by,
Justin Bieber?
oh my gosh. What's that song that we always did?
It's do it again. Cause you're doing it all. Let's start singing. No, I don't know. I don't like that song actually. No, I'm kidding. So what?
He would give a wedgie to the ones. Fear is not my future. Oh, yeah. We're doing that one this Sunday. I put that on the order for back home too. Yeah.
So you would also like use that like personally for you too, like.
Oh yeah.
Church, and then you would also
adopt.
Okay.
As your one for sure. I have on repeat right now though. Yeah. So in that aspect, on repeat right now, I have the one that just come out by Travis Green. Put Your Name on It, or Put Your Name on Me. It's one of those.
Oh, okay. I haven't either.
So good. That's so good. And they have like a rendition of it as well. So like it's a single EP version, or it's a live album recording, but they just put two songs out. So it's like Put Your Name on Me, and then Track Record is what it's called. So it's like a vibey, almost hip hop type version of the song. So it's just like Put Your Name on. It's just like a 6/8, just real simple worship song. Anybody could sing in any church, and then they just like turn it up like you would just. You could do it at any youth crowd, and they
We need to look it up.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. We just did it this past Wednesday night, and it went over really well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All the songs you have on repeat. You also have on repeat something that you're really well known for.
That was a really good segue.
Yeah.
That was a very good segue.
Goodness.
That was awesome.
Goodness.
That was incredible.
That was like the Today Show kind of thing.
Come on, Harry. And now for the weather.
Now we got over here Drew head out with the weather.
He's a great screen. He's awesome. Yeah.
No, but seriously, talk about your devotionals. What exactly do you do on your Instagram and your socials?
Yeah. So on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram right now, I'm posting a Daily Bread series, and I was actually kind of shocked as to how many people did not refer to the Bible as like a daily bread. I've had a couple people reach out and was like, that's a really cool name. How'd you come up with that? And I was like, it's daily bread. I was always what it's supposed to be, I guess. But so what I'm basically for myself is I'm going through a 365-day read through of the Bible, front to back, chronological order. So I'm just going through that. And then whatever I read that day, after I sit down, read, jot down notes, I come up with a quick, like less than a minute, 45, 50-second devotional, and record it, throw an edit on there as fast as I can, and then by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., depending on how long it takes me, then I'll edit it and post it. And I've posted every single day since January 1st.
Yeah. So you're at 2:30.
2:37.
2:37.
Right today is at 2:37.
Today. Yeah.
I've not. I'll do it when I get to the hotel. Yeah, I've read halfway through it, so I just got in Lamentations, so it's 3 and 4, and so that's what I'm going through today. So just finished 1 and 2 yesterday.
What started it? Was it just keeping yourself accountable, or?
A mixture of everything. So on the carnal side, I wanted to, follow me on YouTube. I wanted to I was just not happy with what I was putting out. Like I wanted to do the vlogs, but I was like, I'm not getting any traction with it. And then which is still cool when I get to, go to different places. And I love drinking Prime. And I'll go to some places and like kids will come up to me. This is not everywhere. I'm not famous, but I have some kids come up and they'll bring me like Prime drinks and said, I got my mom to get this for you because I saw it on your video. And I was like, well, I'll keep vlogging. I was like, that's cool. Hey, more Prime. I was like, but hey, more first cup. But I need to start drinking that in my videos. But so on that side, I was like, I wanted more content to make, and I did not know what direction I wanted to go with it. I didn't know if I wanted to do just be, random and try to do find some video game that I could play and do gaming content. If I wanted to do music and worship with my wife, do stuff like that, and then kind of get back into writing, which we've done this past February. Went to a writing retreat. We've wrote some songs. So, okay, we'll circle back to that. I'll stop talking about that. But doing stuff like that, and then I wanted something else to push content about. So I was like, well, what better thing that has endless amounts of content and ideas, something that's stood the test of time for several years, and then the Word of God. So I was like, that'll be simple to pull stuff from, and I wanted to be able to read it all the way through, and have an accountability partner. So that's the carnal, I guess, to the spiritual side as well. I wanted that kind of accountability that would cause me to read it every day, because now that I'm like 237, 230, once I got to 152, I'm like, I'm this close. I'm over halfway through the year now. I have to finish it. So, yeah, absolutely. Yes, very much so. And I've been, and it's those days where you've either traveled or we're at the school. We've worked the entire day, and it's super late, and it's one of those like church all-nighters. You get all this other stuff done. You get home and feed the dogs, take care of whatever you can take care of, get the house straightened up, and then you're like, all right, I'm getting in bed. I'm not getting in bed because I haven't done my video yet, and so I like, you get onto that, and then I've hit, even with just the normal YouTube videos and stuff too, but I've hit like a couple of moments here and there where I'm like burning out, but then something like somebody brings me a drink or something that they saw in the video, or somebody comments or messages me. I've gotten a couple of DMs every now and then that like people just sending me a whole book of why this one specific thing, like creators and people that I never thought would ever even know me or reach out to me, people I didn't even know followed me, or like, I'm really going through this. Yeah. What you said in this video helped me because of this reason. I'm like, that's not even what I meant in the daily bread, but like the way that they interpret it, I was like, it's just, it's crazy how like, I guess God orchestrates it to where moments like that, it's like just as soon as I start burning out, there's a pick me up.
Right. Yeah.
I'm ready to, keep going at that. So. But and of course to deliver the gospel in anybody that I can. So
So what was the time frame between you saying, okay, I want to do this, and then you actually doing it? Because you started it January 1st.
Yes.
Did you like wait intentionally for the first year, or was it December 31st? You're like, tomorrow I want to do this.
No, it was probably the latter part of 22. I decided that I wanted to try to do something like that. I knew that I wanted to post every week, and the plan that I had was. Because that was my biggest struggle with the program that I'm in for content creation, was posting once a week, and that was like the goal. But then it becomes like the hybrid creator is what's big right now. Like if you want to make it as a creator, you need to do a hybrid. So you want to do like one long form a week if you can, and then from that long form post 2 short form videos, less than a minute. And so I was like, I'm struggling just doing one long form a week. It's really, really hard. And then I got to the latter part of the year, and I was like, I'm going to do I'm going to read through my Bible throughout the whole year. And I was like, wait, I can make content from this. And I was like, wait, that means I can post every single day. And I struggled posting 52 times in this one year. Yeah. Now I'm going to post 365. So I was like, what better way to challenge myself than to do that? So that the idea kind of came like a couple months going into the new year.
Have you noticed anything spiritually? Like in your personal walk?
I think not just like a hunger, but even like preaching and just like an understanding of the ministry, and whenever I would go back and read scriptures that I had skimmed through before for, Bible studies or sermons or anything like that. I had jotted down notes. This has happened like twice now, I think, in my reading so far. I jotted down notes of like what this scripture meant. And then now that I've read all this and I have the full context of it, I'm like, that's not what that means at all. Like this is not what Jesus was doing. He didn't even say this. And, but like I'm getting like the full aspect of it all. And so I feel a difference. Like I have a hunger to read it. I have a hunger to get other people to read it. And we were talking earlier today about just like whatever we can do to outreach and connect people and get people on that. And I'm like, I feel like I'm at this level right now where that's like all that I care about. Even when I get home, we would work at the church all day, work at our Christian school all day. And you're just like, I just want to get home. And right now I'm kind of in that mindset to where like, okay, if school's over, if church is done, now what can I do to reach that guest and make sure that they got what they potentially missed in the sermon, or if the sermon didn't, really touch on baptism a whole lot, what can I do to kind of get them introduced to that and all that? So I think myself and then, others from our church is kind of on that way right now. So I think just giving me a hunger and a thirst for it, for sure.
So I kind of want to backtrack real quick and go to the base of it. One thing that we talk about on our podcast all the time is the Bible Project. And that's something that's a year-long devotional that every day gives videos. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not, but I was going to ask, what kind of devotional are you doing? Is it like one that you could name off that someone could follow, or is it your devotional? Did you make it up? How did you go about that?
So I am coming up with all these. The devotional that I'm going off of, it was originally it was like a trifold or something from the UPCI that offered like the daily bread. I think it's the same exact thing if you had the Bible, the daily bread, chronological order. But I just got the pamphlet that went through the whole list, and so I started based off of that. And but it's like the same exact thing that I found. I downloaded the Bible app. I think it's from Gateway or something like that. It's anyways, the Bible app, but they have like a ton of plans and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
Life
now I
Church.
just go through. Yeah, so now I just go through there and do that because it lines up perfectly. Whatever scriptures is written in that pamphlet, it's the same exact ones that's in there for each day. And so I just go through that one. So all it is just like what scriptures to read on what day, and then I'll just pull like a thought or something from there from whatever I can get. So which is really tough. And some of them, this person, he got this one, this one, we got that. You're like, what do I say?
About all this? Yeah. With real quick, by the way, my 3-month-old daughter's in the room. So if we hear,
here's some cheering. It's the massive audience.
Yeah, it's the massive audience. She's saying amen.
That's it.
All right, sorry, Micah, go ahead.
With your content or social media or anything that you put out, do you think more of like your content, like you're trying to reach like more students or more like youth or kids, or is it just for like the general public? Like like, do you have a certain demographic?
Anybody can watch it, but more young people and students will. So I'll even in some of the videos I'll try to incorporate like Stephen the Pig that I use for kids ministry, and even if I'm just doing a daily bread, I'll just have them like in the background of the video. And I think somebody like bought me a pig shirt or whatever. And so if I'm doing a daily bread video and I have that on, some people are like, "Oh, you got Stephen merch," which hopefully we will. But
so in a little bit, let's explain. For those who may not know Stephen and
yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, I think it's more for everybody. But I mean, obviously it's family friendly content. But I think most of my demographic is going to be like probably a younger teenage audience. Yeah. So, but I think as far as like in the church goes, I know I have a pretty healthy mix of different ages. I mean, my grandma's not watching my videos, but because otherwise I wouldn't understand it. Yeah. So, yeah, whenever I study, I like dumb it down for myself too. So if I'm studying it, I have my physical Bible right here. I have my phone right here with the audio of it, and then I have my notebook right here. So like I will have it read to me while I'm reading it here and seeing all the subtitles and the way it's sectioned out. Yeah. And then when I hit something that really sticks out, I'll hit pause, I'll take notes, I'll put it in my own words, obviously without changing the message or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, I try to keep it as simple as I possibly can. So especially when you get to those really It's nothing but thou shalt thus saith. And you're like, there's an "ith" at the end of every word. And especially when you get to those, though, I try to keep it as simple as I can. Something that can connect to everybody.
So something I know even in this room, there's Christian young people that aspire to pursue that content creator career, or I've heard that there's a what's it called, a creator economy, or have you heard of it, like the creator economy, to where it's like it's becoming its own industry. It's not becoming, it's become its own industry and thing.
Right.
With being in the church, you don't see a ton yet, like especially in our movement, in our circles, like hitting it hard content creators. What would you say to like even kids or people that would want to start, or maybe were at your spot last year where you wanted to do it but didn't know what to take, what direction to take? Like, let's say someone like wants to do a gaming content as a Christian. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think regardless, but especially in Christian content. I mean, if you related to the church, we had talked briefly about it earlier, but if you have somebody that loves graphic design, but you put them in a completely different area that has nothing to do with graphic design, after a few weeks or a couple of months, they're going to burn out. They're never going to want to do it again. And it's the same thing with content creation. So like, if I had, well, for lack of a better way to put it, if I had no desire to read the Word of God, but like I made it my devotion to post every single day, then by day 25, I'd be tired of it, and I would hate it, and I would not want to post any more videos. And so that's the easiest way to burn out. And plus, like, regardless of what area you want to go in as a Christian content creator, the bottom line is we need more Christian content creators, not content creators who are Christian, who just like, I believe this, but I'm going to post content that has nothing to do with Jesus. But like content creators who, not that every other word is, you got to do this, you got to do that, but to where like somewhere in there, whoever's watching, whether it's for coffee, if it's for gaming content, if it's a daily vlog, whatever it is, that somewhere within that video, they can get a little dose of who Jesus is, get a little confidence, a little boost. You can make somebody smile, make somebody laugh, make somebody feel better about their day. Or even if something you say pricks their heart and they're like, man, I should really, go back to church or go try this, like whatever you can do. But definitely gaming, music, whatever it is, that's what you want to pursue. So if you don't know what type of content that you want to make, figure out what you love to do first. Right. Whatever you love to do, that's what you want to do. If you love to cry, that's it. That's it right now.
Just cry.
Can we all stretch our hands this way?
I would say, believe it or not, there are people in this is I've seen it on it might not be a YouTube thing. People who like set up their cameras and they get a lot of flack for it, but they would cry, or they have moments of them crying because they're going through a situation but it's very fast. And like, I went through this, I lost my home, and they're crying or whatever, and they're in the and people are commenting, but it's very, I mean, they get a lot of negative response with it. Like, imagine setting up your camera, imagine crying in it. Like, I'm like, man, y'all are ruthless. But if you look at the views, and they're like tons and tons of views. I mean, I know they have a pretty massive following, but like, it's one of the videos that gets the most views out of their content, and like just life situations and circumstances. But it's funny. I wanted to bring it up because crying, I mean, that's a thing. It is a thing. It is content technically,
right.
And Instagram.
I started vlogging like way back, and before I moved, this was so I'm messing up with years again with Josh, but this is before I moved to North Carolina. I was still in Louisiana, and I was vlogging the few weeks before I did the move, and I had got through 3 videos. It was week 4. And I recorded, this was the final week before I moved. I'd been fine and everything. And then my little sister, Bethany, not my youngest one, but my right under me, Bethany, she had made this sign, like just drew it when she was a little kid. It just said Nate's room. And I just had it taped up, a little loose leaf piece of paper. I just taped it on my front door. I had my bed out. I had all my computers. I had everything out of my room. And the only thing that was left in there was that one piece of paper on the door. And I was like, yep, getting ready to go to North Carolina. I'm like recording myself all happy and everything. And I'm like, yeah, there's just one more thing. And I took the paper off, and like something hit me whenever I took that paper off. and I just stared at the door, and I just lost it. I bawled, and I like had the camera down. I was just crying. I was losing it, and then I go back and I edit the video, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't, and I quit posting. I was like, no, I'm out. And so then, but then like 2 years ago, I visited my family in Louisiana, and I was with my grandparents, and who weren't in good health at that time. And I went back to the hotel room, and I had a shot. I think this is the second video that I shot with my grandparents. My grandfather was like going in and out of his mind. He knew who people were, then he didn't know who they were. And I was about to fly out the next day. So I was like, I'm going to go visit them. I'm going to go say what's up. And it was super late. It was like 11:30 at night. And so I was like, they're going to be in bed. But my grandmother said she was going to stay up. And I said, I'm going to just, let my grandfather rest. And I showed up to the house. And whenever I opened the door, I heard him say, hey. And he hollered, and he stayed up to see me before I left. Oh. And so we just talked and talked and talked. He asked me where I was flying, where I was going like 4 or 5 times, and I kept it all in the video. And then at the end of it, I'm in my hotel room, and I'm talking to the camera, and I started crying at the very end. And I was like, you know what, this time I'm leaving it in. I'm keeping it there. And I think like out of all the vlogs that I posted, I think that might be, I mean, it's not like viral or anything like that, but that's probably the most viewed one just because I was the most genuine in that
real.
One. So,
real.
Which is another thing in that sense, not just picking something that you love, but don't like be some fake personality that you're not.
That's good.
Obviously, when a camera's rolling, you're going to be yourself, amped up by 5 or 10%. You can't help it. It's just how it is. But don't be somebody polar opposite, and don't treat anybody any different just because you have a camera in front of your face or anything like that.
That's good. Yeah, good tips. Good tips.
But I want to move on to kids ministry. What got you started in that? I want to hear about Stephen, the history behind that.
Okay. So kids ministry, I was somewhat born into it. My dad did children's ministry, and then the year that I was born, he started it full-time evangelizing. And so year that I was born, we got a travel trailer, and we called it a 1-ton van, and we were all over the road. We traveled, and my mom taught school, so during the school year, we were home most of the time. But it was super cool because all the teachers knew what we did. So if we were off ministering somewhere, they would just give me all my work to do while we were on the road, or make sure that I was done ahead of time. Yeah. So I was in public school, so I had all that stuff. All the other kids were like, I don't like it. but so I got to travel with my dad and do all that stuff. I started off with, so as far as the kids ministry side, that's how I got started in that. That's all I've ever known, what I was raised in and taught to love too, I guess. But my dad does illusions and magic tricks and different stuff like that. And so I started off as his assistant. I was always into music, so I always like sang and then learned guitar and drums and all that stuff, whatever I could do in that sense. But whenever I was with him, he started getting me to do some stuff. Like he would do 2 or 3 bits, and then I would do something. Then he would do 2 or 3 more things. Then I would do something. Mm-hmm. And so I started just like acting out stuff, just, doing skits and all that with him, and then started doing skits by myself. And then I was like, well, I don't want to do illusions because he's already doing that. And so that's when I got into puppets and ventriloquism. I had like a human puppet called Jake, and but I always like saw animals, and for some reason, ventriloquist with animals always intrigued me. So I got a possum called Pence. I don't know what Pence means, but I just named him that because I guess it also started with a P. So I was like, yeah, we'll just go with that. And so that's how I got him.
Pence the possum.
Yes, Pence the possum. So I had the possum and had a whole bit with him where I'd like pull him up out of the bag by his tail, and everybody's like, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, it's so gross. And it was just like this little, it was really cool. So I started with him. And by the way, every puppet that I've ever had, that I've ever done, has all had the same voice, the same jokes. I'm just like, it's the same thing, but for some reason, everybody's like, yeah, I want to go see this person instead of this person. I'm like, it's the same bits. It's just a different puppet. Yeah. But so I did that, and then I got the pig. I started with, though, who I now call Steven's cousin. His name is Paco. So I started with Paco.
Is he another pig?
He is. Yeah, he's a different pig, different look and everything. So I had Paco. And as soon as I got Paco, the first like 2 or 3 places that we got to go to, I knew that he was the one that I had to stick with. Like all the kids loved the pig; they thought it was the best thing in the world. And so for, several years I had Paco. I traveled around with him. Again, same voice, same jokes, all that good stuff. And then we come back from home from a trip, and I'm looking around, and I had no idea where he was. I could not find the puppet at all. And like now, for some reason, the only place that I go is like, is if they call me, they're like, you're gonna bring Steven, right? You're gonna bring the pig. I'm like, yeah, yes, I know that's the only reason that I'm there is because of the pig. But so I'm looking around, and I'm like, I'm terrified because I can't find him anywhere, and I just know that I lost him. I like texted the pastor, and they were like, no, it's not in the evangelist quarters or wherever we were. They're like, no, they didn't say anything. I couldn't find anything. So I go scrolling through Amazon, and can't find him where I bought him before. And the only thing that I could find was this other pig puppet, who is now Steven. And so I grabbed Steven, and I used him for, a few months or about a year until they finally come out with Paco again, where I could finally find Paco. So I was like, finally, I can finish using this pig, and I can go back to Paco. I pulled Paco out, and I went to like one trip and used him one time back at our church, and all the kids were like, Paco was so funny, but where's Steven? And could care less about Paco. I was like, guys, it's the same voice. It's a pig. I was like, they did not want to hear from Paco. They wanted Steven. So ever since then, I've used Steven. So he's been like the main character. But over the last few years, I've slowly brought Paco back, but not to replace him like I tried to. But now he's like a totally different person. So we've started making some content with him. And they're both, in the videos as well. So, but yeah, Steven's definitely the main person, and it's planning on, branching out on that too.
It's crazy how like I've seen you in action, and you've got 4-year-olds, you've got 5-year-olds, you got 12-year-olds, you got 13-year-olds, you got parents and grandmas that are literally glued to what you're doing. It's so funny. Crazy. So give us some practical, let's dissect that. How, because having a wide range in age in an audience is super hard, right? It's like talking to a 4-year-old is totally different than talking to even a 12-year-old, and it's kind of. But you seem to break all the rules. You seem to break all the stereotypes of like you can't have in kids ministries. You hear you can't have a 4-year-old in the same room than the 12-year-old. You got to separate them. You got to. But like when you come on, it's like that doesn't happen. So let's dissect that. What goes through your mind, or how do you build your service flow or whatever you do?
So with the service flow itself, as far as the whole children's ministry portion, I always end with the pig. I always end with Steven. Normally, unless I'm doing something that I've been there before, and I have like another direction that I want to go for the very end. But if I do that, then Steven's right before that. But I always end with him because, most people, that's what they want to see. They want to see the pig. So, but with everything else, I kind of spread it out. So instead of doing all action songs and then all the games and then this and then that, I break it all up. So you could do, an action song, and then you could do a funny skit, and then do another action song, and then you can have like a game, and then you can do another skit there, and then you can just you instead of putting everything like in a section like we would do for a normal service, you'd have all your worship right here, and then all your preliminaries, and then all these, and it's all sectioned off. You just spread it out, and like we're gonna do a song here, do a bunch of random stuff right here, and then another song. And so but what you're doing with that is like the kids who love games are all tuned in for the games. The kids who could care less about it are out of the picture. But then those kids that could care less about games, they love action songs. And so right after that game, you're doing an action song, and now you've pulled them back in. So throughout the whole service, you're like doing different things that reaches different people. Now, obviously, if I'm doing a kids service for just a full church, it's a little different because most of your stuff is going to go toward the kids. But I always try to like I'll tell jokes, and I'll make, even with, or especially with Steven, I'll tell jokes that it flies right over the kids' heads. But it's more so for the adults and the teens. It's a joke that they can get. Like I'll get Steven to clear his throat, and he'll ask me if I can clear his throat for him, and I'm like, yeah, of course. And I clear my throat, and he goes, thank you. And like 3 people laugh every single time that I do it. But I'm like, it was for those 3 people, and that's all that matters. And I'll even say that on the mic, it was for them. And then sometimes that gets even more laughs. But I try to do different stuff throughout that connects with all these age groups. So like when you're in like a kid service that has all ages, you want to do something in different sections. Like not every single thing you have to do has to pertain to one specific group, and you can sprinkle some stuff. If you're doing an action song, you can say something on the mic in the middle of that action song that's going to make a 12-year-old laugh that doesn't really care about dance. So just try to be dynamic with it, with who you're speaking to, who you're directing your attention towards, and stuff like that. And then again, like I said, the same thing with Stephen. I pretty much do everything that I do throughout the whole service, but do it within that 5 to 10 minutes that I have the pig out as well, to try to connect with everybody that I can as much as I can. And that's what I try to do at least.
That's so. Now with this, do you freestyle? Do you have a script that you've memorized? How does it work? What's going through your brain when you're up there?
A little bit of both. Mostly I have like some jokes and bits that I know that I've done for years, and basically it's stuff that I know will help get someone to laugh, and it's also the stuff that like I know is going to help teach a lesson and pull us to the main part of the service, which is going to shoot for getting people in the altar to pray, to seek God, get filled with the Holy Ghost. So that's the main stuff that's normally repetitive, but obviously that changes from church to church, because sometimes Stephen, I won't say me, but Stephen will like to pick on different people, and so and that helps as well when you make it more personal for wherever you go. And so I like to do some freestyle and stuff like that. Like if I know that there's a joke, like comedians will circle back to stuff all the time. If I know that there's something that landed well in the very beginning, I'll always try to circle back to that, like toward the end, or like anywhere randomly. Like if Stephen flirts with a girl, then I end the bit, I put him away, and I start talking about what we're about to do whenever we pray. But I make Stephen mumble from his bag like he's trying to say something, and he opened the bag and he's apologizing to me for how mean he was. He picks on me all the time. So I make him apologize for how mean he was to me, and I'm like, is there anything else? He's like, yes. And then he starts flirting with that girl again, and then I shut the case. So I try to make him flirt with her. Everybody forgets that he flirted with her, and then right before I shut the case, and this is literally right before I'm like, we're getting ready to pray right now. So this is not like, this is why we're gonna pray. This is what we're doing. It's like he flirts with somebody. All right, altars are open. I guess it works, and I think it's solely because you just have their attention. And so as long as you have their attention, as long as you have their focus on you, and they're hearing whatever you have to say, then they're ready to go forward with it. So yeah, it's just it's a blessing. It's a lot of fun that I get to preach with a pig. It's pretty cool. So
it's truly an art though for you to be able to do that, and with the distraction of the kids, that it's incredible. But you had a question about music. I do want to talk about music and songwriting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of just curious, if was there anything just kind of within your own setting that you've been kind of writing and just working on, chewing on a little bit, maybe in hopes of creating a bigger platform for it, like releasing it, and kind of along that lines of.
Yeah, I right now I've written I'll write a chorus here, or I'll write a bridge there. I'll do random stuff like that, and instead of putting a whole song together, I'll do that, and then hopefully one day I'll finish writing that, and then put that stuff out. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to push music out again, because I used to a long time ago, whenever I first got really, really into it and wanted to write my own songs and do stuff like that. I had put out music, but and then whenever I moved and kind of got into college and all that kind of stuff, I started pursuing more so the graphic design, the videography, the YouTube side of things, instead of just the music and writing and stuff like that. So it was really refreshing. It was really cool to go to a retreat in February and meet up with some different people and do some writing and kind of get back to what I felt like was roots. Because that was I think that was probably my first love was doing music, and I learned drums first, and then I sang along with that and rapped as well. So I mean, which we do have. Funny enough, we do have a kids with Apostolic Collective. We do have a kids song that myself and my friend Dom do rap on. It's called Plus One. So it's really, really cool. It's talk about bringing your friends with you to heaven. And so they were like, we want Lil Mate to rap again. And I was like, please don't call me that. But yes, I'll do it. So we wrote, we had we had fun. I'll show you guys after this everything, but I don't think I'm allowed to play it right now. But yeah. So and I'm actually editing the video for that, and trying to put all that together. But yeah. So I write here and there. I haven't written like a full song recently, with the exception of what we did back in February. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to get back in that. I'm not sure when, but I know in the next little bit, I guess is a southern way to say it. Next little bit, I want to do that.
Well, what's up with all these drummers, man? Like, nobody want to play bass? Like,
No, we need bass players. Like, nobody wants to play drums or guitar. Nobody wants to play bass.
Nobody wants. Like, yeah, I didn't know you could. You also. I knew you played guitar.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, the drum. But now it makes sense. You have that.
I started on drums and became the drummer for our church when I was like 12 or 13. And then, but I wanted to learn guitar because I was singing as well. And my dad is like really good at playing the guitar. So I got him to teach me some chords. And I was like, well, I'm going to play, for church eventually. I'm sure, I can use that whenever I lead worship and use it for, my albums and all these really cool concerts that I'll get to do one day and all that stuff. And I used it to lead worship for our youth services. But for our main church, my younger cousin actually ended up doing exactly what I did in like 12, 13. He started playing drums, and we needed a bass player. So I pretty much just took whatever I learned on acoustic. I was like, well, I'll just play bass. So completely obliterated my fingers and started playing bass. But yeah, but that's true. Like everybody wants to learn guitar, or everybody wants to learn drums, one of the two. I've had several people back home. They're like, "Can you teach me guitar lessons?" I'm like, "I don't want to. I want you to learn the bass." But yeah, we're very fortunate back home. We got a guitar player who is an animal on the bass, and that's what he's playing right now. So that is the truth, though. That's relatable. #relatable.
So with music and stuff, you said that music was like your first passion, and besides like kids ministry, and vlogging, content creation, do you have any other hobbies that you like to do, like outside of church, maybe?
Right now, pickleball.
Oh my goodness!
I played with some folks that were way older than me. Yesterday, my sister and I we went in to our pickleball courts there in Wilson, and we just got up early in the morning, and every single court was filled. And they were like, "Yeah, y'all come on in, just line your paddles up against the gate, and the next court that's open." I was like, "This is like official. You guys are crazy." And they had to be like super generous and super gentle to us because we got smothered like every single game. They're good.
Yeah, they take it serious.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I had one person tell me, "Yeah, you need to come on Saturdays, and that's when the kids like your age come, and they're really good." And I was like, "Well, hold on. If y'all are saying they're really good," I was like, "I'm not coming on Saturdays. There's no way." So. No. I just got into it. But pickleball, I love basketball. And I'm horrible at it, but I love like the trash talking side of it, and just to have fun in that side. But I love playing basketball. And I game a little bit, not a ton, but I do game a little bit, just a smidge. But yeah, basketball, pickleball, a little bit Nintendo Switch action in there. Used to be PlayStation, but I was like, no, I got to get rid of that. I'm playing too much. Yeah, exactly. I can have it on the road. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. We'll have to pray about it. You have to watch the Daily Bread, find out. That's hilarious.
So with you being involved in so many ministries, is there anything you do to avoid burnout?
Oh, I don't know. I think that I am burnout, and I'm just like running on whatever that I have left. And yes, yeah, I think it's game. Yeah, Fortnite helps out a lot. No, but I think just my family pretty much is the core of it of keeping me motivated. My wife helps a ton in that aspect because especially whenever I'll go, if I'm complaining or if I'm like, hurting about this or frustrated about that. And even if it's just her magical 3 words of "get over it," I'm like, okay. And then I'll go over there. She does not treat me like this. She's gonna kill me if she doesn't say that. But hopefully she don't watch this far. She hears me talking up. But yeah. So I think just family really helps me out a lot, especially when I get to work at the church with my family and be there with them. I get to work with some of the coolest people, and and it is a lot. It's a lot that I get to do, that I'm blessed to be able to be a part of, and a lot that I've probably said yes to that I probably shouldn't have, and just not put on my plate. But the people that I get to work with and hang out with, I think that helps too. I'm not working with a ton of people that's like always like down my back about stuff and making it really difficult. I get to work with some incredible people that make me want to do it.
Yeah.
So, I thought he's laying it.
Yeah.
Should we name him? Should we?
What's up with the names?
Steven the second.
I have one random question.
Hit it.
So, as you walked in, Brandon, and I noticed it too, but Brandon pointed it out, the Supreme sticker.
Oh, okay. He sound like a high beat. Yeah, I had to take off my gold chain right before we said that.
Do you have any, like, are you into, like, shoes?
Not really. Not really. No, not really. I'm a little picky with what I wear now, which is like, you're probably like, how, dude, look at you. but when I say me, I think my wife is like, I think I actually texted her. I will say this. I texted her before this in the restroom, and I was like, do I wear my hat frontwards? Or do I wear it backwards? What do I need to do? She's like, you look like a country bumpkin with your hat forward, so put it on backwards. So, and she hates my hat backwards, so I knew she meant it whenever she said that. But no, not really. I like more simple shoes like kill shots or blazers for Nike. I think my wife is getting into and like I saw them and really want to get them now. They're Adidas. It's like Samba or something like that. I'm not sure what they are, but I think those are getting, I say, pretty big. And then like anybody watches is gonna be like, what is that? But we've seen those here and there, and they're just like a casual, just like daily wear shoe. But I have like one pair of Dunks, and but when the white gets dirty on it, and I'm like, I really don't like this. I don't like how they're. I don't care if they crease or anything like that, but yeah. So I don't know if that's like crucifying if I let them crease or whatever. So, but yeah.
It probably is. I've seen videos of people like before they propose.
Take the shoe off. Yeah, absolutely. It's important. Yeah. Don't crease the J's. Don't crease the J's.
If I crease, I'm putting that in a bay or case.
And they make these covers that you can put in your shoe to wear, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know how. Is it uncomfortable though, or is it like?
I mean, yeah, you can use to it.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand. What's the big deal about it creasing?
It's just a style.
Because some shoes, like, people can resell.
But if you got like an $80 pair of Forces and you're worried about them creasing, some people are gonna be like, okay.
Yeah. Literally, one of my students, he had black Air Force Ones on.
Yeah.
He's walking around like
Duckle. It's a red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah.
I'm like, get those.
I got a pair of Shaqs that look just like those. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Well, I remember when it was like horrible to have dirty shoes, and I know in some places it'd say, yeah, it's like it's a thing. So like, who cares if they get dirty?
You can buy them. It's intentional.
Yeah. My father-in-law sometimes is like, I don't understand why people buy like ripped up jeans. Like if I would have known that, I would have just kept all the ones after work whenever I like all the stains and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I would have just kept those and sold those for $350. I was like, yeah, absolutely.
To one of my cousins, he had like holes in his jeans or something. He's like, "Did you get those 50% off?"
That's awesome. Well, I remember guys would take their caps and before they like made them where they had like that rugged on the bib, and we would take them and rub them against like a brick wall to get the front of it like flared up and all that stuff. And they would do that on purpose. And then of course you had to have a little fish hook on it. I don't know if you guys remember that. All the like anybody that would hunt or anything would like stick a little fish hook on their thing. So I'm like, wow, you're so cool with your 2 collared shirts.
Oh, I remember the 2 collars.
Okay, y'all can explain this to me. The hats, like the baseball hats where people still wear the stickers on it, is that like, when does that resell them? That's why?
I don't know if it's resale. I think it's more of a style.
Status.
But it also depends on the brand of hat too. Like you can't just
It's mostly new.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people from my school or from my past school who did do that, and they kept the stickers on because they genuinely would resell them all the time and make killer money. I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong business. I need to start selling these hats. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I trust a used hat though. That must be me.
Selling his news. They don't know.
Business model, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Would you do that?
with jeans though, right? Like with the tags.
I said, would you do that?
I mean, with hats? I don't know. I feel like
I would not lie to people.
Okay, be honest. Have you guys ever left a tag on a like a clothing item and then you wore it once and
No.
I-
No.
I would just
That's
tear
bad
it
about it.
if I just be like, man, the tag fell off.
Yeah. Hey, you just get store credit if the tag's not on.
So we would just, if people brought in the shirt with the tag, we just like, there was a way we could put the tag back.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just kind of took it off and I'm like, the tag fell off.
That's hilarious.
And they're like, yeah, we got links in it. But
That's hilarious.
that's funny.
No,
Walmart,
I can't do it.
you don't even need a receipt.
really.
Yeah, Walmart. I've returned stuff to Walmart that I didn't even buy. Yeah.
It's a red. Everybody tag Walt.
Did you say in 4K, Michael?
Don't you in 4K Ultra HD? Adobe surround sound.
No, it's true. They'll take back anything.
how much you give me for us TV?
She's like, what? It was your shirt. What do you?
This is like, Mario, right? It's only a couple of these shirts.
No, I have not. I can't even sometimes deal with just the normal tags that's on shirts. Like, I don't know what it is. The feeling of it, sometimes I can't. Like, if it's bothering me, if it's touching me the whole time I'm wearing it, I got to take it off. So I can't do that.
Well, you guys, I'm so glad that we got to have you on this podcast and hopefully, or this episode, I should say.
God 4K.
Joe's like, he always says podcast instead of episode.
Okay.
And so I always make fun of him for it. Well, I think that's a collective thing.
It's contagious. Thank y'all for having me. This has been awesome. I appreciate it.
I have one last question for you. So with you being in ministry in general, would you have any advice for like any youth or people that are looking to get feel a calling on their life to go into ministry? Like, what advice would you give someone trying to pursue that?
Talk to your pastor. Talk to your youth pastor, and if it's something where you feel a calling to be on the platform for any reason, don't get upset and frustrated when you don't get put on the platform immediately. I've heard it said before that the need is the call. And so even if you feel like, I'm called to preach the gospel, and then you're asked to clean toilets after a Sunday service, don't get upset about it. Like, go clean, go serve wherever you can serve. And if it's God's will for those doors to be open to where you do eventually end up preaching or singing or leading worship or anything like that, then he'll, pave a way for those doors to be open without you having to call people and text people and say, I am this or I am that. Like, God will help that to get out, through however he does it without you having to, self-promo and make your own self a ministry. But yeah, get involved, but definitely talk to your youth pastor, to your pastor. If you don't know what ministries are available, then when you talk to them, ask them hey, I feel a calling to the ministry, but what do you need me to do? What can I do? Instead of saying, I'm going to preach and I want to teach Sunday school this Sunday. And they were like, well, hold on now. Wait a minute. We don't need another Sunday school teacher, just present it to them. I feel a call to the ministry. What can I do? And maybe even seek counsel from them and see what they have to say. So, and allow yourself to, I wouldn't say build up, but allow your ministry to grow. Cause I don't really think the lead worshiper is any more important than the person who, prepares the sanctuary or vacuums or anything like that. I don't think there's levels like that. Obviously you have the head of the church, you have your pastor, your leadership that everybody would submit to. But yeah, in any aspect, and that's where I'm taking too much on this question, but no, I think that's where a lot of young people kind of get it twisted, is they're like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this because that's not really ministry, but it is, and you can't think of it as anything less than what anybody else is doing. If you're doing something that helps the church, that helps that man of God, that he would normally be out there cutting grass on a Saturday, and you're helping him be able to have more time to study or to be with his family, maybe he never gets to because he's always studying or helping other families at the church. If you're doing anything in that, then I think God's gonna honor that, and it's just as important as any other position. So yeah, just get involved, figure out what's needed, and if you can do it, then do it. If your parents are willing to bring you to the church or take you wherever to help other people, then do it. Give Bible studies in the process too. So whatever you can do, show up, and don't just show up whenever you're needed, but show up when the doors are open. So prayer meetings, services, whatever you can do, be there, be present, and be involved. Sheesh.
That's awesome. That was a great way to close it out. Honestly. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. But before we go, can you tell everyone where we can follow you, keep up with you, just all the things?
Sure. At Nate Roberts II, or Nate Roberts II, I guess how I say it to make it easy. You know, but yeah, you can follow me there on Instagram. I think if you just look up the name on TikTok or YouTube, you can find it there as well for any of the Daily Bread series. Not in January, because I think I'm fasting social media in January. I will not be present after 365 days. I'm gonna take a month off, but yeah, you can check us out there, and it's just normal stuff. So follow, don't follow, whatever. Just scroll through. You don't have to. But I mean, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, Nate Roberts II. Yeah, it's at youtube.com/ yes, yeah, Nate Roberts II. You can do that. Not yes, Nate Roberts. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, yeah, the same handle, same username for all platforms. It should be the same.
So we're gonna make sure to link that all in our description. But thank you guys for tuning in for another episode, and we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the Young Talk podcast, where we talk about Christ and culture. We upload a new episode every Friday, so see you next week.